Hey everybody, it's John with Sweet Memories Cooking. Welcome to What's for Dinner. Today we're going to talk about making braciole and its Sunday sauce. If you're not sure what braciole is, it's an Italian dish, and braciole is the name that we give to this thin sliced meat that is rolled with a filling of, can be almost anything, Parmesan cheese, eggs, whatever additional ingredients you might have, ham, bread, mushrooms, onion, sausage, that's rolled up tight and fastened, and then it's cooked in a tomato sauce. Usually takes 2 hours. That's why we call it the Sunday sauce, because you got a little bit more time on Sunday to let that just cook. And then we serve that with pasta. So let's get going. So you're going to kind of get a two for one here because I'm going to give you the ingredients and directions for making the braciole, but then how I make my Sunday sauce. And again, this is a recipe that I've come up with. Some of it's from family recipes, some is ones that I've tried that I liked, and I kind of put it all together, and this is what I have. But for the ingredients, you're going to need a pound of thin sliced beef bottom round. That's what I used for this one, or you can use flank steak. Breadcrumbs, salt, pepper, garlic cloves, hard-boiled egg, parsley, quarter cup of raisins, and then 2 tablespoons of extra virgin olive oil. So that's for the braciole. Then you're going to need for the sauce a half an onion chopped up, garlic cloves, 3 large cans, 28-ounce size cans of tomato sauce, some tomato paste, red wine, parsley, oregano, and basil, 1 to 2 pounds of pork neck bones or short ribs, and then a bay leaf. Now, don't worry about trying to write all this down. I've got it all together for you, and I'm going to post it on our Facebook site and our website right underneath this podcast. So let's get started looking at how we do the braciole. As always, I like to lay out my ingredients so that everything's right there available. And the first thing I do is I take the meat and I put it on a cutting board, and using a kitchen mallet, I pound the meat to make sure it's thin. And what that does is it really tenderizes it. Then in a mixing bowl, I combine the breadcrumbs, salt, pepper, garlic, parsley, the egg. That egg is a hard-boiled egg that's chopped up, and olive oil. Mix that all together. And then I take a piece of meat like you see here, 1 strip of meat, put that on the breadboard, and lay that out and put the filling in there, a little bit of it all along the way. So as you roll it, you're creating a little tube, and then I fasten it with toothpicks and kitchen twine. And you do that until you've, rolled all the meat. And this is enough stuffing for, like I say, a pound of meat, and it made about 6 good size pieces of braciole there. Then the next thing you do is you heat 2 tablespoons of olive oil in a pot. Now this is going to be the pot that you end up doing your tomato sauce in. So I get a large pot, I put the olive oil in, and then I'm going to sear the meat on all sides. And you're just going to brown it on all sides and remove it, because then it'll finish cooking in the sauce. Now let's get into making our tomato sauce. There are the ingredients you're going to need. But the first thing that I do is I take the pork and I salt and pepper it pretty good, and I put it in that same pot that I cooked the braciole in, and I brown it on all sides. Then I remove it and set it aside. Then to that same pot I add the onions and garlic and saute the onions till they're soft. Then I add the red wine and stir it. What that does is I let that go for about 3 minutes. It cooks off the alcohol and leaves that wonderful flavor from the red wine, but it also picks up all the those flavorful bits on the bottom of the pan. And so in effect, it's deglazing the pan with wine. Next thing you're going to do is you're going to add all the tomato sauce, the 3 cans of tomato sauce, the tomato paste, those spices, a cup of water. And then what I do is I mix that together and let that come up to a boil. Cut it back to a simmer, and I let that go for 15 minutes. After 15 minutes, I add the braciole and the pork, and I cook it for another 2 hours. That's it. You're pretty much done. And after 2 hours, you'll know, because the pork will be falling off the bone and the braciole will be fork tender. So the next thing I do is I, serve it over pasta and have the braciole on the side. Tastes delicious. Let's see the final results. So that's the Braciole in the upper left-hand corner. And like I say, it's fork tender, and you can just slice that and you see the pinwheel with all those ingredients in it. It's tender and flavorful and delicious. And in this case, I cooked up a pound of rigatoni and served that with the Braciole, and that sauce was just spicy and delicious because it sat there all day and it really came together nice. So where can you get these recipes and where can you find us? Well, the first thing you want to do is go out to Facebook, and if you're not part of our Sweet Memories cooking group, join that, and you'll find this posting along with a recipe right underneath it. You can also find those same things on sweetmemoriescooking.com, which is our website, but along with that you'll find additional podcasts, recipes, link to our YouTube page where we've actually done some videos where you can see Patty and I cooking together, because you know Patty and I are a cooking team. And you can also purchase a hard copy of our cookbook if you want. You can do that on our Sweet Memories Cooking site. If you want a digital version of the cookbook, go out to Amazon.com and search on Gifaldi, and you'll find it there. And you can view it either in Kindle, or there's an application for your laptop and desktop where you can view the cookbook there. So as we always say, pass up that drive-through. Spend a little time in your kitchen creating some sweet memories of your own today for you and your family. Until next time, take care.